Regan Duffy, all the way from WA/Wonthaggi at the moment. Welcome. Thanks for coming in, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate.
All good, man. So, obviously, you're in Vic right now doing the preseason deal, so that's how I wrangled you into our studio. What's been going on?
Not much, really. Just been riding my dirt bike a lot.
Yeah. And your cycle bike, Strava.
Yeah, getting into a bit of that. I'm staying with the Townsend family, so Chris, Rani, Everin, Balin and Lawson.
Yep.
Give them a shout out. They've brought me and my girlfriend Jess into their home like family, so it's been awesome. They've
and for those that don't know, like Townsend's literally like you got Wonthaggi, the street, and they live on the other side of the street. Yeah.
Like when we train at Wonthaggi, we just ride our bike out the shed, across the road onto the track.
Yeah,
like,
that's so perfect.
Yeah, there's no packing up your van or any of that shit. It's awesome.
Different to life in WA, I'm assuming, where you're kind of on the road a bit more and travelling to train.
You know what? It's actually completely different other than Townsend's. WA, I've got a bit of property at home and I've got 4 tracks at home, and then 5 minutes up the road is AJS, where they normally hold the nationals.
Oh, okay, so scratch that. You just dialed.
There's tracks everywhere in WA.
Yeah, right.
People go wrong a little bit there.
Yeah.
There's probably 4 national level tracks within an hour.
Wow.
Of where I am. I'm in a pretty good spot. So
where are you based? Sorry, in WA.
I'm probably like 35 or 40 minutes north of the city.
Of Perth. Okay.
Yeah, so like Wanneroo area.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where the nationals normally go.
Yeah. That's a really great track to train at.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right, well, we'll get to WA later. We'll chat about where you came from and everything else. But let's chat. To check my dates then, let's chat 2021 real quick. Obviously signing MX1 to race Pro X and Supercross, or?
Yeah.
Both. Okay,
yep.
Awesome. So factory KTM.
Yep.
So you're the sole KTM guy. You know, the KTM group has Gas, Husky and Kato, so obviously you're the KTM rep for MX1. That's pretty awesome, considering... Well, you had a good deal last year with Husky being with Todd Waters, obviously that didn't eventuate to anything with COVID.
Yeah, that was a bit disappointing, really. I got to spend a bit of time with Todd and Jill up in Burleigh Heads, which is
it's a nice part of the world.
It's an amazing spot. Yeah, it was cool. You know, we did our training and then head down to the beach after, or vice versa in the morning before training. So that was nice. But COVID hit and we were just out at a track, and then seen Facebook. And it was like, they're going to close the borders to WA tomorrow. So literally packed my stuff up, and our mechanic, who's Todd's cousin, he drove me to the airport, dropped me off, and that was it. Didn't see them again. So I only really got to spend a month with those guys. But
yeah, it happened real quick when it happened.
Yeah, it did.
And I guess still living in WA, you had to get back as far as your family and everything else.
I wasn't set up too well to be able to stay there the whole year.
You couldn't have blagged it and just been like, I couldn't get back, and mum and dad, I'm gonna have to stay in Burleigh. Sorry.
Yeah. It is a bloody good spot. It's somewhere where I could maybe see myself living in the future, to be honest.
I feel like every time you go anywhere near that part of the world, you get off the plane, you're like, why do we live?
Yeah.
You know, I always wanted in Victoria.
I know. It's
because you go there in the winter for the races, in winter, and you get off the plane and you just like.
It's like Victoria's good weather.
No.
Their winter.
Their winter is better than anything down here.
Yeah.
It just smells better up there. The palm trees, the trees and the beach. And
pretty crisp up there.
Yeah. Crisp. I like that. Yeah. But yeah, so obviously, because you were MX2 last year, that was the plan, right?
That was the plan, yeah. But I didn't get to do any racing, really. But
you won a state title in WA?
2, yeah.
2.
I won.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
So I actually went. That was my 2nd year in a row of winning MX1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I did that in my rookie year and then backed it up again, which was cool.
Did you race the 125 at one point?
Yeah.
Or the 150 was it?
Yeah, one of my best sponsors, I would say, just for close family friends and whatever, is Ant and Leanne from Berry Sweet. They're a strawberry farm back home.
Are they based in WA?
They're 10 minutes down the road from me.
Right. They help out a lot of guys over the years. Yeah. Are they just big moto enthusiasts?
Well, Ant was actually a national quad bike champion and a really good dirt bike rider. He grew up with my dad racing. So, but I said to Ant, like, I really want to ride a 150 in MX2 this year. What do you reckon? And he was like, all right, I'll buy you one.
Let's do it.
And I was like, fuck, really? Are you sure? And yeah, he got me a 150, and then I raced MX2 on that, and I ended up winning every moto. So it turned out to be a really good year.
There was some killer Instagram footage going around of you just doing horrible things to that bike.
We got the final video before I gave it back and gave it to his nephew, the bike,
right?
With a buddy of mine, Mark Garrick, who's a really good filmer, and so we did some footage at Berry Sweet, like riding through the strawberry fields, and there's a little track there that myself and Aunt's son Kyle have built, so we did some on that, which it was pretty cool. That's
nice. So obviously you didn't get it because obviously you won. We'll get to 2019, but you won MXD in 2019.
Yeah,
that's right. So now you've obviously at the end of 19, you did MX3 at MX of Nations. Was it MX3?
Yeah, open.
So basically, and you rode the 450.
Yep.
Which we'll get to that as well. But you had some really good times and competitive results before it all went to shit with the rain. Which obviously opened some eyes. And then Manjimump 2019, you went and smoked everyone on a 450, right? Was that the case?
I don't know about smoked everyone, but
he's being modest. Yeah, from what I hear, it was a bit of a smoke show, but
ended up getting the win. But I messed up the shootout a little bit, but oh well.
Either way, it's obviously because you're 18, and we just had this conversation before we started. Like, I feel like I haven't seen you for. Well, I probably wouldn't have seen you since Supercross 2019.
Yeah.
Because I was in and out of the race line truck a lot doing some different things, and you were riding for those guys then, but you've grown a lot since then.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really notice it.
Shook my hand down near broke the thing a minute ago. So like, I feel like you fit well on a 450, but for 18, like I don't think people realize how young you are. Like you're a rookie in MX1, but you're pretty young too.
Yeah. Born in 2002, so normally when I say that, people
makes me
get
feel
a little bit
so
shocked.
old.
Yeah, but no, I'm still super young, and I got a lot of time ahead of me. So
the 450 for 21 with KDM, was that something you were pushing for, or is it? You know, you ride the big bike really well.
Yeah,
it's hard to make money not riding MX1 in Australia. Like kind of.
I think you have to be set up in MX2. You have to prove yourself first, and then maybe in the second or third year in MX2 is when sponsors can jump on board and teams have to pay you more money to get you back on their team.
Yeah,
but
to be in title contention.
Start, there's not massive amounts of money available for MX2, whereas every sponsor wants to be in the Premier class and on their bikes, on their riders. So, but to be honest, it wasn't something that I really pushed for. It sort of just came about.
Okay, like the opportunity presented itself. And
it there was actually like they asked me initially if I wanted to ride a gas.
Yeah.
So I said I want to go back to KTM because I've pretty well done my whole career on that, other than 2020, which I rode the Husky for Todd.
Yeah.
But
it never really happened, so it's kind of
yeah. I don't know. It was a bit of a ride off that year, other than state titles, of course, which was good. But
as in WA though, it doesn't count. Like it's like another country. No.
Yeah.
Dude, it's got a time difference and everything.
Yeah, well, it's pretty fucking far away.
It is a long way.
Yeah, but
no, I'm only messing. WA peeps, don't be hating. Yeah. I'm only messing.
Yeah, but
got your boy here. I know you'll be getting fired up. But yeah.
But yeah, other than that, really, I said that I would really like to go back with KDM. You know, they're the main one.
What's the premier brand in the group? It's hard to say, isn't it? Husky kind of has that premier allure, but I think KDM is still the brand.
That's the push at the moment is for Husky to be maybe number one. But for me, KDM will always be number one, just in the sense of it's the original.
Yeah, it's the brand.
Yeah. So
it's called the KDM group.
Yeah. So I was really excited when I still had the option to choose there. So as you would know now, I went with KTM, and I'm stoked about it.
That's great. It's because they announced their team not pretty late compared to others, but it was a little bit of a not a drawn out affair, but I guess post COVID and trying to figure out budgets and who's doing what, and I'm pretty tight with Milner. Like it took a while to have Milner and everybody else announced with you guys that he was doing off road and whatnot. So would have obviously been a relief to get that done and be ready to go racing.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it for ages, but another big thing that threw a spanner in the works was they wanted to do the release with the photo shoot, do it properly, but with COVID,
it just
sort of ruined it. But then, they have to make the announcement, so
it kept popping its head up, didn't it, and like delaying everything again and again.
Yeah.
Did you get to do your own gear deal this year?
Yeah, I did.
What are you running? I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, I'm back with Troy Lee. So
cool.
Johnny, Kent, all the guys at Lusty, which I'm stoked about. They have awesome gear. And then back with Oakley through Bo, which is the Oakley rep for Australia. He's unreal.
Nice.
You ask for one thing and he sends you 10. So he's a bloody legend and he always keeps me stocked up. So I really appreciate that.
Nice. You got everything you need. That's a pretty sweet setup.
Yeah. I like it.
What's the KDM team structure? Because obviously I've seen, obviously Tanny's gas and he's got is that the WP truck repurposed for gas? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
I know
Possibly.
that there's a gas truck. And it kind of looks like the WP truck used to, I think.
Yeah.
So do you have a rig, like the KDM rig that was the factory team? Or?
From what I know, they still have their truck that they had when...
Because obviously it was outhoused for a while with Raceline, contracted out. Now it's back in. Yeah. So they kept all those assets.
I think they still have everything, I guess they kept it there just in case, which is what it is, yeah. So do you know your mechanic and team structure and stuff? Yeah.
Mick
Carusi, who's also Milner's mechanic. He's going to go
pull double duty
to and from. So
nice.
He's got a big year ahead, but
he'll be busy.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. So I actually did testing yesterday at PBI Ride Farm with him, and he's going to kill me. I've had a mind blank. Geordie.
Yeah.
God. Sorry, Geordie, if you listen to this.
We'll cut that bit out.
Yeah. So I did a test day with Mick and Geordie, and yeah, they're awesome. I got to work with them, and they helped me out. We haven't done any major testing yet. It was more just for the feeling of the bike yesterday. You know, pegs, bars, grips, stuff like that, just to get me
kind of rider control stuff.
Yeah, just comfortable, sort of a base setting, and then I've already done a big testing day with Gilesy from Choice Suspension.
Yeah, I saw that. So is that so I know that's Milner's go-to.
Yeah.
Is that a team deal or is that personal preference?
Personal preference, yeah. So we got to choose that as well.
I know Milner speaks crazy high of him as far as what he does on his program.
Yeah. So I think, we had the choice to choose KDM sorted out, but they said, if you have someone that you're really comfortable with, then
just go with that.
Try that. And
that's cool that it seems like you've got a factory ride, but they're letting you,
it's good.
Put parts of your own program together, which doesn't always happen in Australia. A lot of teams are like, nah, it's this and this, and that's what it is.
How you're doing it. Yeah. It's really flexible, which is good. So I hadn't used Gilesy for a number of years, but straight away as soon as I got back onto it, I was like, fuck, it's pretty good.
So you had used them in back in the day?
I had, juniors. Yeah. So Raceline had their own setup, and then Todd had his own setup with MPE. So
it's funny, isn't it, how you can not ride a technician's product for years.
Yeah.
And then you jump back on it and it just feels like going home if that's your guy.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. It's I got my guy SPMX and he's been doing my stuff forever.
Yeah.
Not that I've at your caliber, but same deal. Like you can jump on and I can have him do any color bike. Yeah. If I'm testing something, if I've got a new bike for myself. I just know it's a couple clicks here, a couple faster there, that's my setting, and it's
comfy,
good to go.
Yeah,
it's a big thing for comfort.
Yeah,
especially when you guys are going as fast as you are. It's definitely a good thing to have in the back of your head that you can trust what you're on.
Yeah, I think people tend to forget that all riders are different, and I think a lot of people they say this is going to be good because this guy runs it, but I'm not that guy. I'm me. So I need to run it how I want it to be set up. So, I think it's really good that I got the chance to do that.
And I think it's good you have that awareness because a lot of guys your age, like I keep saying, you're only 18.
Yeah.
It can be easy to get not led astray, but it's like, oh you want me to run that? Yeah, well, I'll run that.
Led astray is how you would put it, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just the nature of the industry, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
teams have got people to keep happy or whatever it is.
You're always going to learn like that regardless, even if you don't get to do it yourself and you do it their way, you are going to learn in the end. For me,
Or you learn what you like or you don't like, right?
Yeah. For me, Nations was like such a last minute thing. And I ended up having to run Ferris's suspension, like just because we didn't have time. That's all it was. And he had 2 sets getting sent over. So, yeah, I got to run that. And, you know, it was good, but it wasn't for me. And I didn't feel comfortable. But what can you do in that situation?
Yeah, you can't say no to the opportunity.
Well, yeah, I'm not, you know, well, I'm different. I say stock, forks and shock. I can ride them just as fast. But,
yeah,
you know, you don't want to go to a top level race like that and not have the best equipment possible.
Yeah, it's hard though, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I've ridden a lot of aftermarket and oversize and A-kit and whatever you call it, and I've tested some pretty high level factory bikes over the years. But I guess it's tough to say. Like, I know where I'm at now, like, been a long time retired from going fast or doing anything, and I was never at the pro level you guys are at. But the rigidity of A-kit and oversize suspension, number one, you really need to be at an elite fitness level to make it work. Like, you can bomb it for a couple of laps, but that stuff is going to be rigid from lap 1 to all the way to the end. And then I've owned race teams in the past where we've gone a certain way with suspension, and I've tested bikes halfway through the season, and we've gone back to OEM suspension, OEM clamps, triple clamps, bar mounts, OEM bars, OEM throttle tubes, just trying to get rid of that rigid feeling. You know?
Many times you can just overdo it. And
have you experienced that? Or
for me, the first ever time I got a set of cone valves was like a shock to the system. You know, I was only 14 or 15.
Because being a part of KDM at a young age, they would be pushing the top product to you.
They would like you to run it. You know? But I was like, holy shit, this stuff is hard. Like, I really can't ride with it. But it's just going that next level fast is where it's like, then it works. Yeah. It's definitely not for comfort. It's for safety. I think is what. Safety. Yeah.
But you got to be going that speed
for it to work at all. Yeah.
It's funny. It's good. Again, good you're aware, because a lot of younger guys, like, they can't test or they couldn't really tell you what they like on the bike, or they say my setup's not
great, but I have sort of an idea,
an awareness. I think you're better than what you're saying, but all right, so let's you brought up Nation, so let's talk about that before we go further back. So obviously you get the opportunity to go. I can't really remember how it came about, because it was 19. Todd, hold up, 2019. So who gets the MX1 title over here? Todd, right?
Todd, and then Todd says that let's give some younger guys a chance, because there's a lot of young dudes that are going really fast right now.
That's right. I was trying to figure out.
Pretty cool of him to give up that opportunity. And then so I think that's when Webster got his spot. Possibly. Or maybe Ferris took Todd's spot, because I think there was a little bit of something there where Todd was like, well, I've just given up my ride, but no, Dean's just taken it.
Right.
He wanted it to be a younger guy so we could get experience for the future. But regardless of that, it ended up coming down to I had nominated for it, and I was in the draw for it, but it ended up being Mitch got picked over me, which is, I knew it would happen, but I was just there in case. And then,
because he'd had that 450 year with Raceline where he got third in the championship that year, right?
Yeah, a second, I believe.
Second, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then Mitch ended up getting hurt, and then I remember someone close to Luxich called me and text me and was like, can I have your number? And I was just like, I'm in. Like, I was working at the farm with Dad, and I was
in the off season.
I was like, I'm going to Nations. Like, that's it. And then
throw the work down. I'm out.
Luxich called me and he's like, how you going, Regan? I was like, good.
Just give it to me straight.
And he's like, yeah, I've got something to talk to you about. And I was like, I know. And then it was like, right, do you? And I was like, I'm in. And like, I'll do it. And he was like, all right, cool. All right, we're on. And then, it was pretty much, that was it. That's how it sort of came about. And I only had 2 weeks of training before. I wasn't, I was still training hard, but I wasn't training how I should have been.
Not to prepare for that event. No.
All the team had been announced and everything. I was like, there's a very minimal chance that one of these guys is going to get hurt.
So that was before Supercross, right? Because then you missed the first couple rounds of 2019 Supercross.
No, I still did them, But
then you went.
I had Nations was before Supercross, so
that's right. I'm trying to remember the timeline.
I had like 2 weeks before Nations, and I just went and rode like dog shit white sand rough tracks in WA, like bush tracks that are just
bombed out to
so rough. It's like unbelievable. Your guys over here would probably drown in the sand. Yeah,
okay.
we got it dialed over there.
Look out.
But
East Coast.
yeah. So I did that, and then we went to Nations. All that happened. We'll get back to that, and then I came back for Supercross, and I only had like 2 or 3 weeks to learn how to ride Supercross.
That's right. Yeah,
and I had never really done it before. Like I had a little half-assed track at home that I'd sort of messed around on, but it was like I was 40% going into round 1 of what I could have done.
We've chatted about this on other shows when I had you on during Supercross and that, but you got your learning curve was so steep and you got progressively better real quick. But yeah, that was impressive that year. But all right, so let's get back to Nations. You get the call. Obviously, it comes together. You just been pounding motos in the heat in WA at that time of the year, and then you jump on a plane and go to Assen, and it's in it's in the race stadium. The race the MotoGP stadium, and they import sand.
It's like directly across the road from it, and I think it's just dug out. I didn't actually get over and have a look, but I think it's just dug out of a massive hole.
Yeah.
So then
they just bring it in and
dump it along the track, and it's, you know, when you have fresh dirt, it's fluffy. Yeah. So it's just
full of air pockets.
And then with like 100 mil of rain in an hour. Yeah, I don't know how much. Don't hold me to that, but there was a lot. You could tell. Stupid amount of rain. Like, it was crazy. And then you've only got a meter or maybe 2 meters of height off the tarmac of sand, so the water just like hits the bottom and that's it. So it's just like slosh all the way through.
It just looked like that part of the beach where the water meets the sand, and it's like that soup that when you stand in it. Yeah.
If anyone's ridden on a beach and then they've just been riding along and then just like sunk and nearly ate shit, that's the whole track.
Yeah, just full of water and air. It just moves as you walk on it.
Yeah, but then somehow all the up ramps are like concrete ruts right next to each other.
So you hit them sideways and then get cross-rided.
Fully sideways and then just train track up this jump.
So the weekend, obviously, qualifying times and the qualifying race was where you made sort of the biggest noise. Yeah. Take us through that.
Well, we had like practice and everything, which was, you know, the track was fine. And then what did I want to do? I wanted to go and practice some grid starts because I'd never done one before.
That's right, on the mesh.
Yeah. And they were like, because it started raining by now, and this is before our qualifying race.
Yeah.
For my class, which is like MX Open, and they were like, sorry, but like your bike is going to get too hot. This track is way too heavy right now. We can't afford to practice starts just in case your bike
doesn't make it.
Yeah.
So what team ran you over there? Like, obviously you were Team Australia, but what was the infrastructure?
It was some new team that hadn't actually started yet, and they had just bought their truck and stickered it up, and it was like this old guy. I'm sorry, I'm not even going to remember it. But yeah, so Team Australia got to rent the truck off them. I think he gave us the truck. He gave us everything for free for the weekend.
Yeah, right.
I think we had to buy him beer, something like that.
Standard European deal.
Something along those lines. But it was a really nice setup. They had the full kitchen in the truck and then the workshop. Nice. And then I had Baggett's mechanic at the time, Austin Kent, who came over with Burner to be my mechanic.
Because Burner was team manager.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So, that was sort of the setup there. So we had a good setup, but we were actually sort of in a drain pipe at the very back of the pit, so our thing was flooded.
Team Australia getting looked after. Yeah.
So, everyone else was...
It looked like everything was flooded by the end of that event, but...
it was tough.
So, like I said, I just remember there was all of a sudden all this Duffy hype that you'd put some crazy times down, and then you ran up front in the qualifying race for MX Open, and the track was it was a mudder, but it wasn't swamped out.
It was actually really good. Like, if the whole weekend was like that, I would have been stoked. It was, there was no puddles. It was just a little bit heavy here and there, but other than that, it was really nice sand.
And for you to run, so you finished 6th in the qualifier, but you were running top 3, right?
Yeah, well, ended up just getting this unreal start. I could have got the whole shot, but I sort of bitched out of the first turn a little bit.
It's not like sweeping right-hander, yeah?
Yeah, some guys got a better like sweep than me. So, but I got a super good jump, and the two guys next to me got a terrible start. So I was just on my own,
just shifting gears.
Yeah, and I was just swinging off the back of the thing, and then I was running third, to Bogas and some other guy for like 3 laps maybe.
Yeah,
and like I was comfortable. You know, I'd sort of shaken the nerves by then. And I was just sort of getting into a groove, and I felt like I had a lot more left in me, and I was like, yep, I'm going to start like putting it down and try to hunt these guys down. And then there was this inside hump, and then you turn left slightly, and I straight lined it, like just got a little bit loose and accidentally jumped it weird. And they have like, instead of tough blocks, they build like sand barriers on the sides of the track.
Yeah, right.
So I've jumped straight onto the top of a sand barrier, sunk straight over the bars, flat on my back, thousands of people yelling at me that I've just crashed in front of. And then scrambled back to my bike, and I got up in 6th, and yeah, I ended up, charging still, and I ended up 6th still, so it wasn't too bad of a result.
Well, I think then the Europeans would know this, is that if the sand was heavy, but not like a mudder,
yeah,
that's what those MXGP guys ride 24/7. So for you to run up front, even if it was MX Open, like I know you're not against the MX1 guys, but there's a lot of fast guys that bump up into the open class for the nations.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're running, up front in that class, that is there. Because I remember guys in America talking about the results. Like it was word got out pretty quick.
Pretty sure Pulp said
as I was saying,
about
it was Pulp, and they don't really take any notice of anyone outside of America. So for them to mention, and I heard your name specifically, it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, actually, the MX Vice did a poll after it, most impressive rider of the nations, and I won. I was like 48%.
Really?
And there was like Hurlings, Coldenoff, everyone in there.
Wow.
Like I got a mad amount of votes.
Safe to say you were on the radar then after that.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I was stoked with that. But then, come to the motos, and I got a super bad start in the first one. I think I come from maybe like 29th or something like that. And I rode up to 11th, and then I just ran out of time, really. I wasn't even tired.
Dude, you can't even judge anything on the,
No, it is hard. Like, that's like I wasn't tired because I was riding like so slowly to just get around the track without crashing, and it was tough. Like I remember blowing straight by Zach Osborne through these rollers, like just blew his doors off, and then just crashed at the end of the rollers, and I was just like, all I want to do is beat America. But then, he's gone by the time I pick my bike up out of the mud, and I've got muddy grips, like goggles are torn off. So
can't see, can't move.
11th wasn't too bad. It wasn't where I'd want to be. And then, the second moto came around, and I got an even worse start, and I was coming through, and I think I got up to about 13th. And some of the guys said after the race I was catching like Paul in and stuff by 3 seconds a lap.
Wow.
And they were, I think, like I was on pace to catch up to 6th if I kept going the way I was.
Yeah.
So, not bad from that far back. And that was MX1 and Open combined, I think that one was. So, the best really. And my bike just let go. Just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, a lot did.
Yeah. And then, I remember just being like, fuck, like just so upset about it on the side of the track. And then I pushed my bike off, and I like start walking back to the pits, and I just started laughing. I was like, that's the sickest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, like, the pride and this surreal feeling, like you see go by Osborne, or you're racing the best guys in the world on that track, and you're so young still. It would be, I'd like to say, you're not like the allure of it hasn't wore off yet. It's still like, that's that.
Yeah.
Like sure. Osborne, or that's Caroli, or Hurlings, or whatever it is.
Yeah, but like obviously, that was the first time I've ever had a shit race where I've like blown up my bike or something, started walking off the track and just been like a grin ear to ear, just like, wow, I just did that. Like,
because it's just such a, I don't think people realize how sick the atmosphere is in Europe.
Oh,
like ridiculous. The MXGPs it's a completely different world to anything you'd experience. Like you know, obviously I come from the UK, so like I've been to plenty of MX Nations and stuff, and that vibe is, you know.
Well, I remember sitting on the start line just being like, it was pissing down rain, and I was like, wow, this sucks. And then I was just sort of in the zone, couldn't hear anything around me because I was just thinking, and then I just like looked up to the grandstands, and there's like honestly thousands of people, smoke bombs. One guy had a train horn he was winding up, air horns, chainsaws. It's just nuts. They're just so into it, and it just made me appreciate it a whole lot more when I seen them fans just loving it in the bad conditions.
Just take it all in for a second before the whistle goes and you got to start your bike up, right? That's so cool. Sure. So I've asked you this before, and I know it was an awkward question, but obviously that was 19, and then you signed in Australia for 20 before COVID. So like your intention was to do MX2 here again, and then you've signed MX1 for 21.
Yeah.
Now, clearly there would have been interest from MXGP and maybe even America for you to go race overseas. I know. Bear with me.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't got to say specifics.
No, that's fine.
We know this, but you're still here.
Yeah.
You know, you're still in Australia. You're still racing domestically.
Yeah.
So we'll skip the stuff politically, you know, you don't need to talk about. But is this a career plan that you want to stay here for a certain amount of time? Do you want to go overseas? Like, where are you at with that?
Yeah, it's not really a plan, to be honest, but I'm glad I am here.
Right.
I think we're in the best spot we can be. Europe's been delayed, which it sucks for them. America's getting by, but I don't know. I just don't think they care, so they're just going to keep going as is. But for me, the last year or two, I've sort of been set on going to Europe first.
Right.
Like friends of mine, Jed Beaton, you know, he's done it, and obviously past heroes of mine like Jeff Leask, he went to Europe, and it's something that I've been really interested in recently. A lot of kids my age, and pretty much everyone, to be honest, they've been like, America is their idols growing up, Ricky Carmichael, all that, but I was the Stefan Everts kid. Like, my dad would be like, you can go on the computer if you're only watching Stefan Everts on YouTube. Like,
it's a good way to brainwash a kid.
Yeah, but you know, like, I just tried to replicate his style because it's like what I'd seen. Like, I just used to watch the same video of Stefan Everts riding at this shitty quarry track. It's like a minute and a half long video, and I would have watched that like 1,000 times, and it just never got old to me. There was something about him, like, never revved his bike, 2 feet on the pegs everywhere, and I was like, that's who I want to be.
And you stand up a lot. Yeah. And you do, now you say it, you do have a pretty similar style to Everts. Like, you're always head over the bars. You know, you roll your wrists a lot. You're getting taller. I mean, I remember watching you ride a 125 as a junior, and obviously you rode the life out of the thing. But you couldn't be as smooth as Everts on a 125. But you made it. You definitely have a lot of rolling speed and that technique. It's interesting you say that because, a lot of guys are in love with America and that's where they want to go. I guess the only counter, I think I've asked you this before as well, is that you're a good Supercross rider. So it's like MXGP versus Supercross.
Yeah. That's honestly, 2019 Supercross is the thing that was a massive spanner in the works for me of where I want to go.
Oh shit, I can ride Supercross too.
Yeah. I'd never done it before, and like I'd been set that whole year. I was like, I want to go to Europe. I'd stayed with Jed a little while when he was home, and we spoke a lot about it and what it's like and what I need to do to be there. And I was like, yep, all right, like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do that. And then I did Supercross and I started doing reasonably well at it. And like, even like recently at training days, we're talking, and like all the boys are talking, we're just like, fuck, can't wait to start training for Supercross, hey? Like, it's so fun. Deadly, but it's fun.
Yeah, that's the catch. And I mean, to follow up on what we're talking about here, like my opinion is I think what you're doing is really smart, because you see Caleb Ward, you see Jay Wilson, you see Luke Stike, like everyone that's gone to Europe to go, like they've won a title or whatever it was, and they're like, all right, this is my chance. And they're and I'm not speaking out of turn, not to offend anybody, but they're on some B-rate Italian team. Support, you know, a privateer program, funded God knows how. And it never ends well. You know, they get injured, their bikes are shit, they come home early. And you've seen, you know, like really, Stike never really recovered in moto as far as like he's doing great in AORC, but that was kind of, he never rebounded again.
Yeah.
You know, Caleb never really rebounded again. Jay his career was almost over after his trip to Europe. Like, it's worked for Jed. Like, you look at Bailey and Nathan, it's just horrible timing with COVID. They had a good crack at it, but you really, to me, I think you get one shot at it. Like, no one goes and comes back and then goes again.
Yeah.
It's like you either go and it works, like Jed. You know, he did enough every year to improve, and he's done amazing over there, and probably has a legitimate shot at a world title this year, you know. Or you don't, and if it doesn't work out, that, you know, they're never going to say, oh, we'll give him a second chance. Like, that doesn't happen.
No, that's it. You got to prove yourself first, and, you know, I owe that all to my dad. To be honest with you, I would already be overseas by now if it wasn't for my dad, and who knows what situation I would be in.
But you need that, and I think that's great that your dad has that vision for you. I don't know if it's a long-term plan, but he obviously wants to do the right thing and make the best decisions for you. So that's really good.
People really underestimate my dad, you know, teams-wise. Like, he's a really smart guy with motocross, and in the industry, like, a lot of the time he'll sit back and he learns everything. But, you know, when he wants to have his say, he's pretty straightforward, as you would have heard.
I've heard he has opinions.
He doesn't mess around. He says it how it is, and
but look, I got kids now. I get it. You know, before you know, crazy moto parents. You know, you hear it in the pits, but if you got to speak up for what you think's right for your kid, like, I wouldn't hesitate now. You know what I mean? Like, it changes everything, and that's you're his son out there. You know,
and as I get older, I realize that, like, seeing people like you just listed, what they've done, and I could have been in that boat very easily, but my dad's held me back here. And, you know, you say Jed has gone over and done it, but Jed did multiple years here before he left.
He did.
Whereas,
I think he was 4 seasons in before he went, right?
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yeah. And, you know, some of the people that have gone haven't quite done that. So I think
it's not to discount what they haven't done. From what I was saying, I don't want people to take that the wrong way, but like, that's the reality of it.
All the people you said just then are world-class riders, whether they ride now or not. Like, they're unbelievable riders. It just didn't go at the right time, didn't possibly, or just a bit of bad luck. But yeah, I've seen all of them people in action, and they're incredible. So
and that's the thing, right? You're 18. So 23 is the MX2 cutoff.
Yep. Even
if you went in 2 years at 20, 21, you've still got more than enough time to...
Oh, if you can't make it work in 3 years, I can go home. Yeah. That's it. So
there you go. But
that's Dad's attitude coming out of me. But yeah, that's
it's the truth. Like, and I you know, people say, oh, the 23-year-old thing kind of ruins. It's like, no, if you're right. If you go pro at 18, 19 and you're 23 by the time you finish MX2 and you haven't made a dent, like, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's it. You know, in some cases, of course, it might have worked, but for me, I would like to be able to have a learning year or possibly 2 learning years and then go for a title. Like, that's the ideal situation for me. Of course, you're not going to go over there and win straight away. Like, not many people have ever been able to do that, but yeah, I think
with your learning, your learning curve, how quickly you learn. Like, I watched, because like I said, I was involved with Raceline that year as a team.
Yeah.
So I watched you really closely, and like watching you go from round 1 to round 5 at AusX, and going from figuring it out to legitimately almost being a podium contender.
Yeah.
Where'd you get in that last round? Like 5th?
5th. Yeah, and 5th. Jet Lawrence got 4th.
Yeah, so. And I, you know, block passing Chris Bloss and, and stuff like that. And, and I was just like, wow, like this kid, you're young. He was 17 back then, you know, and
had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, and it makes you a fan of you, because it's like, fuck, wait till he actually figures this stuff out.
Yeah,
with experience.
It does annoy me that I didn't get the time that I would have liked, but on the other hand, this year I should have a good pre-season before it, if all goes well. So I'm really looking forward to stepping up to the 450. I went home after Supercross in 2019, and I kept riding Supercross for a month or 2 after that.
Just to keep riding it.
Just get used to it. And like, when I left for Supercross, I got a friend down the road, James Brown, to build me these set of whoops, and like, ridiculous. Like, the whoops at Wollongong, they're like twice as big as them.
Yeah, right.
And they were nuts. And I couldn't even roll through these things without crashing.
Yeah.
or nearly crashing. And then I came home from that season of Supercross and just hit them wide open on my 450.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Didn't even hesitate. And I was like, fuck, if I rode like this at round 1, you know, I could have been a podium guy. Who knows?
But, you know, you got through your rookie season, turned some heads and stayed healthy. That's a pretty, you couldn't ask for too much more than that.
It's hard when you're a racer. You put your helmet on, you want to go out and win. But I had to really just take a step back and say, like, this is a learning year. Yeah. I need to do that.
So many people go, you know, Supercross and they get hurt and it affects everything. But, so, yeah, basically, you want to do MXGP, but you're good at Supercross. We'll see where it goes.
I don't know. Chad Reed went to Europe and then went to America. So, it worked out for him, and I'm sure that guy's pretty well off.
Hunter and Jet did the same thing as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a pretty good path, I would say. No,
I agree. I think you're doing it the right way. Your dad's a smart man when it comes to the influence he's having on your decision making. And well, that concludes the MXN. Sorry, the MXN Nations and the MXGP talk. So obviously you're pretty young, so there's not a whole like career to talk about. But from WA, so I kind of first remember you. Geez, I'd say
14.
I can't remember the year.
Were you helping out like Liam Andrews or something?
Nah. Well, I was always coaching, so I was always at like junior nationals and different things like that. And might have been 16.
Did you used to commentate? Oh,
I commentated.
I'm thinking of Todd Jarrett.
Todd. Yeah. He used to manage.
Sorry,
that's all good. Todd's a good dude.
Yeah,
and he's a lot younger than me. You can confuse the two.
No, he's a nice guy.
He is. We used to do the TV together for MX Nationals back in the day. Todd used to manage the WBR junior race team.
Yeah. Do you mind if I have a drink?
Yeah, it's fine. You don't got to ask, bro.
I just don't want to fuck it up.
Donnell's losing it over there. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. So I think maybe 2016 Junior Aussies is when I first remember Renmark. Were you at that one?
Yeah. Yep. I got my ass handed to me that year.
By who?
Mason Simmons and Reese Budd.
That's right, you did. Yeah. I wouldn't say you got your ass handed to you. You were in the battle, right?
I was, but I just, my another thing with my dad, he said to me, coming up to the Nationals, I wasn't training, I wasn't doing anything, I was killing it in WA, so I was like, no, I'll be fine.
Yeah, thinking you're all that.
And he was like, you're going to get smoked if you don't train. And I was like, yeah, Dad, whatever. And I went there, and them two boys were just, they were solid. Good starts, and then just keep going consistent lap times, whereas I would be like up and down, have one really fast lap here, then mess up there.
So you were in the younger 250 group then, right?
Yeah. So it was all like, Norton, Dice, Grothuse and stuff.
Yeah.
In the older, and then
Grothuse, he's another WA kid, eh?
Yeah.
Is he close to you? As in,
yeah.
Do you know Caleb that well?
Yeah, really well, actually. I've sort of got back in touch with him more last year and stuff since he come home from Europe. So
he's a good
double knee surgery.
Yeah. I messaged him the other day. I said I've got to get you on the pod because he's been doing the EMX 250 over there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone
just forget about him.
Anyone knows what he's up to. Like he had a full season in MXGP.
Yeah. He's God, the talent is ridiculous.
He rips. He just the injuries.
He had pretty serious injury. He lost a couple fingers. Where he went to Europe when he was younger, and then
that's right. Yeah, he's got the hand strap thing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still uses that.
No, not anymore.
I don't know. I think he just goes through it.
Yeah, he had like a thumb thing, like a thumb strap.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never asked him about it, but I just remember staring at it like, what in the world is that?
But he took a bit of time off, and then he came back, and it just didn't quite work out the way he would have liked, but just a couple bad injuries here and there, like with his knees and stuff like that, really held him back. But
is he going to have another crack at it, or is he?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Looks like he's working civilian life right now.
He is, with actually a close friend of mine. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, he's just doing that for now, and then I guess he's just going to see where it goes. But
that
kid's got some stories. He would be cool to listen to.
He would. He looks like he's done it more the privateer way in Europe.
He's done it the hard way.
Yeah.
Like when you listen to it, you're like,
like driving around, building his own bikes.
And a gritty person. Very gritty.
That's rad, man. There's not enough kids like that nowadays. But
no, hard worker.
So, yeah, obviously you came up, you were a pretty high-profile junior the whole way through.
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah. And then I commentated the 2018 Junior Nationals at
Penguin.
Yep. And you got the win that year.
Yeah.
And that was your, the end of your junior career. So
yeah, ended it on a bit
Oh,
of
you ended up on the scrub of death as well.
In the dirt.
Yeah.
The scrub of death. I like it.
Well, but, surely that's what it needs to be referred to.
Oh, yeah, I nearly died. So
you seen that, yeah? Yeah. Everyone's seen that.
So
yeah, we should insert that into this clip. So let's talk about that. So I just remember being on the hill commentating, and then oh my God, and that was it. Like, you're just flying through the air. And
yeah, so what happened is I was actually...
You were coming through from a crash or something, right?
Yeah, I was killing it all week. I was riding really well, but I got a bad start or something, and then had a tip over, and I was trying to get from probably 15th to 1st in half a lap the way I was riding.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Just riding like a maniac, like I did in juniors a lot of the time, which every junior nationals, it seemed to bring me undone because I'd...
Just getting way too excited.
Yeah, just trying to be James Stewart and scrubbing to the bars hit and all that good stuff. But
you scrubbed some dishes on that one, tell you what.
Yeah, but yeah, I was coming through and I was just dicing everyone up, and then I think I was trying to pass into 5th at that point, and that's like a lap or two in, and yeah, I just scrubbed the shit out of it, and then everyone thinks I clipped my peg, but I actually clipped my boot on the very top of the up ramp,
right,
and then it just like ripped my leg straight off the back, and then I've got this thing where I can't let go of the bars when I crash.
Right,
I've never learnt to let go. So I just rode that thing to the ground.
So I couldn't, even in the video, because you're full kiss of death, like as you disappear over the landing.
Yeah.
And I thought you would have front flipped and let go. No?
Well, I sort of did at the very last second because I was going to land on my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I rode it like full Superman.
All the way.
12 o'clock, and then just let go at the last second and landed flat on my back in hard clay ruts.
Yeah, because the jump wasn't huge. It would have been 40 foot. And you would have gone over the downside to the flat.
Oh, like
way to the flat.
Half of it again.
And that clay was like concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that would have felt good.
Really, really hurt me.
Yeah.
I just remember laying in bed that night and just I shut my eyes in one position. I woke up, I was in the exact same position, and I was just like, I was too sore to even move in my sleep.
Dude, and then you still had to go out because obviously you lost the 125 title after that, but you still had to go out and win the...
Yeah,
and like
the
Ferguson...
next morning, I think I won the 250 title.
Yeah, because Ferguson and who's the other kid? Ty, like they probably weren't quite on your level, but they didn't make it easy for you.
Oh,
like,
not at all.
They gave
I had
you a
to
run.
ride at 100% for sure, but I did have a little bit of an edge on them.
Yeah,
but
because like Noah would get the start most races, like he would take it to you every gauge.
He's really light, so he would go straight to the front, and then I might have to work through a little bit on the 125. But 250, I had it pretty good. Just powder weight was in my favour. Then I think Noah might have been a little bit light at the time, but it actually turned out that I went out for the next 125 moto because I finished that race that I had the crash in.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I just rolled around, and I still could have got third.
Right.
If I won the next moto, and I got the whole shot or something, and I was leading it, and then my spark plug snapped.
That's right. It was the corner by the first corner, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and you just stopped in the rut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember just like pushing my bike and yelling at Dad because he had like changed the jetting or something.
You weren't laughing that time?
Nah. And I was like, look what you've done. You've cost me this. And he was like, oh, sorry, mate. Like, and my dad never says sorry to me because he's normally like, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And then like we found out it was a spark plug. I felt so bad. He was just going off at Dad.
Yeah.
Emotions
run high when that stuff
happens. It turned out that
happens.
wasn't going to be my title regardless. Whether or not that was
wasn't
damaged
yours
from the crash,
win.
but I don't think it was going to happen. So
it hasn't held you back. I think everyone gets so caught up with junior titles. Like honestly, my opinion now with the sport, especially in Australia, it might not be the same in Europe or America, but it doesn't really mean shit anymore, juniors. Like you used to, you've been one to carry a contract through, but you won. You went straight into MXD on a team KTM ride because you won for them in juniors, and you've kept that ride all the way through. Yeah. But you also won an MXD title in your first year. You were a favourite for MX2 if you'd have raced in your first year. Realistically, I think if you're factoring into the conversation to be up front in MX1 too this year, so it's worked for you. But like so many of these parents are like, oh, junior career, but it doesn't give you the support that you need.
Nah, it's not. America, them kids are making more money than anyone is in Australia on 85s, but
a select few are. I don't think everybody is, but
not anymore. Maybe there was a few back in the day, but it's only like Jet Reynolds or Ryder D or something like that. Yeah, those guys. They would be on big money still, but it's in Australia. It's not a massive thing. Now, a lot of my toughest competitors, before and even now, are people that weren't that great in juniors. Mm-hmm. I feel like the people that are really good in juniors, they lose that spark. Like they don't want it anymore because everything comes easy to them.
I don't know if it's they don't want it, but there's two things. There's that everyone says this where you only have so many good years, and if you get pushed too hard too soon, you burn out going into pros. I think the other one is, I don't know what your opinion on this is, right? As a junior yourself, you would have raced from the front a lot. Yeah, whole shot. You run up front, local level, state level, national level. You're always up the front, right?
Towards the end of juniors, yeah.
The exceptional juniors, they pretty much always see a clear track all the way through. Yeah. You know yourself, when you get to a pro level, then you have to learn to ride in traffic. You have to learn to ride
through roost and
through everything.
All that, yeah.
And I think it really affects a lot of people's confidence when they've never had to deal with,
for sure,
that side of racing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're in 10th getting smashed and they don't really know how to deal with it. That's just one opinion I've got.
I believe in that for sure. And that's where Dad's always put me in, higher level classes if possible, sneak into a senior race when I'm 13 and stuff like that.
It's whatever you got to do.
Off the record, that is.
Nah, it never happened. Yeah, never happened.
But I've always been able to lose, I hate it and I work so hard until I don't lose again, but I know how to bounce back, whereas what you're saying is some people don't. Once they lose, it really gets to them.
Yeah, and I think it's so easy to get into a mindset of, what the sport's like. If you're feeling like you're obviously a very mentally strong individual to achieve what you've achieved, and you're composed under pressure, and it doesn't seem to, anxiety race day, it doesn't fluster you too much, but not everyone's that level, and if it starts rolling bad quickly, it's very hard to bring it back.
Some people are just crazy talented in Australia, and as soon as they get on the start gate, everything goes out the window.
Yep.
Practice day, they'll smoke everyone. Whereas me, I'm not that flash on a practice day, but I get to the race and it's go every time. I perform.
Yeah.
I do my job.
It's not a bad way to be though.
I'd rather be good on race day.
Yeah, that's when you make your money. Day. I mean, Cooper Webb's the same from what I hear. He's not exactly
for sure.
Practice track hero.
Comes down to it, he just gets it done. And that's the way you want to be.
Yeah. Straight up. That's what will get you money.
Yeah, pretty well, yeah.
No, it's cool. And I mean, like I said, you had a really good transition, and I've been around the sport long enough now to know the trajectory of you go to senior, you do well, and you keep progressing through the ranks, and your career's on the right path. Obviously, there's a lot of things that have got to go right, but it's cool to see where you're at and the potential it has been as young as you are. But so let's bring it back to, obviously 21. I keep having to check my brain as to what year it is.
Don't worry, so do I.
2021, I'm not going to be like, where do you see yourself finishing in MX1? But
it's fine. You got to ask the question.
Where do you see yourself finishing in MX1?
Well, you know what? Realistically, I believe I can be a top 5 guy.
Yeah.
And then, that's just where you set it. And then if you do better, great. But if not, then that would be where I would like to be.
I genuinely believe you're a podium guy. Hit my opinion on your year, you're going to win some races, and you'll be in contention. You've got obviously experienced guys like Toddy and Cloudy, and there's plenty of others I haven't mentioned that will have a lot more experience.
I think that's what it will come down to is if I can pull it together for a whole season. I do have speed. People have seen my raw speed is really good, but I have to be able to put that together for every moto of every race day throughout the whole year, mistake-free, injury-free. I've got to be good off the start straight away.
Yep.
Everything has to come together, whereas people, write these older guys off, but they've done it before. The pressure doesn't get to them. They can perform on race day every time.
Yeah, Todd's been probably racing as long as you've been alive nearly at this point. Like,
sure.
And you look at, like, say your 2019 battle, like you had Max Purvis, and he kept you pretty honest.
Bloody oath he did.
He's pretty wild and he's fast. But you're probably going to have 5 or 6 Purvises as far. Well, he's racing MX1 this year, right?
Yeah. I seen. I was like, going from under 19s, had to race this wild Kiwi.
Yeah,
and I was like, going to go to MX1. Don't have to worry about him. Right,
and he's
Max
back.
Purvis. There he is.
The mullet's just going to be flapping still.
Oh, I was just about to say, as long as I don't have to hear about that mullet, I don't give a shit. But there it is. But he's an awesome kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's funny as.
Yeah, he's really nice.
And he is not afraid to twist that throttle. But
not at all.
Yeah, basically, I guess what I was getting at is it was basically you and him had separated yourself in MXD.
It ended up being like that, yeah. We took off and it was either me or Max that was going to win, and that's how it was.
Yeah.
It was a race for third.
Whereas this year you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to go that speed on MX1.
There's 10 dudes that can win a race.
It's pretty deep this year, isn't it, in MX1?
Easy 10 guys that can win a moto.
Like, you could say who's your biggest competition, but realistically everyone is pretty fast.
There's five guys that, like, I don't care what anyone says, one of them 5 dudes are going to win the title. And then there's 10 guys that are going to win a moto,
Definitely. Yeah, it's going to be, and then the race formats are changing a little bit.
I think it's going to be really exciting, to be honest. There's a lot of flack for how the motos are set up with, there's 2 25-minute motos, I believe, and then some.
It's alternating formats.
Some rounds will be back-to-back 13-minute motos.
2 13s back-to-backs, yeah.
Yeah, and, people are going to hate that as much as they can, but we're not a massive sport that we can do whatever we want. Coverage-wise and whatever. We need to cater for the fans also.
Well, we've got TV, which is back for 21, and it's a big deal.
It's a massive thing, yeah.
It is a massive thing, and obviously the formats are trying to provide an exciting platform for that.
Yeah.
And good year for you to be stepping into MX1 with TV. You'll get the lion's share of the coverage, I'd imagine, and
I hope so.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, but, I think if you're a professional rider, you're just going to have to adapt to it. You can't just cry about it and say, make it.
A lot of people do
again.
carry on, but.
Yeah, but you got to be willing to make a change. If that's going to help our sport grow, then do that.
Yeah.
If I have to ride a 10-minute moto, I'm not going to like it, but I'll do it if it's going to make our sport grow, because our sport growing is a wider coverage, bigger sponsors, more money, It's a chain reaction, and people are stupid if they're going to talk shit about it and get upset. So I think just roll with the punches and take it how it is.
I like it. That's a solid attitude right there. Take no, kids. No, there's a lot of people that carry on in our sport. There's a lot of prima donnas. Like I said, I don't, you're young, you're 18, but I have a lot of time for you, and I'm a fan of you as far as you're mature. You have a really great outlook on the sport, and a lot of kids your age frustrate the hell out of me because they have opportunity, they have talent, and you whether when I was coaching, whether it's now I'm in the business side and I help guys out, be it trying to help them out with contracts or get them deals or whatever it is that I work with guys to help them. They either want to listen or they don't, and they think they're entitled to this or that or whatever it is, and the what you've outlined throughout this whole interview, I think it shows a level of maturity that's going to, take you pretty far, man. So it's cool to see.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
That's all good. I say it as it is, and I think for the industry, I think that's understood. You're pretty stand up with everything. So it's for your age, it's refreshing because you hear a lot about how everyone, young riders, don't do smart things, and
that's something of mine that I've always been, from a third person view. I watch everything.
Well, if you said your dad's the same and he's very, observes everything and figures everyone out, that's a trait you'll carry on with.
Yeah, and it is. Ever since I was little, I've been the same as that. I hear things that I shouldn't actually hear, and I learn things a lot faster than kids my age could possibly hear. So
it'll take you far. It'll take you far.
I hope so.
But so yeah, back on the grind. Are you riding tomorrow? What are you doing?
Yep. Down to one thaggy. So I'm with Ross Beaton again this year on the Beaton's Pro Formula program, which has been awesome so far. I've got back up to pace reasonably quickly. Little bit sore at the moment, just back into that boot camp grind.
Yeah.
But definitely feeling better each time I go out on the bike, and it's always good to have Ross overseeing everything and giving you the tips here and there. And Ross is really good for, obviously you can work with a 50 rider and teach them the fundamentals and everything, but I feel when you get to a professional level, it's always hard to just clean up the minor things because, for the most part, professionals think I'm a professional, I don't need help. But for me, it's really good because sometimes I just don't notice them small little things. And at this level, it's all the 1%ers.
Just about to say, you're chasing, number one, Ross's program has a lot of really great riders. So that environment is great for building speed and everything. And then number two, like you said, it's those little things that, you're not going to find, I'm speaking generally. Yeah. But for you to go find 3 seconds a lap at the level you're at now, very difficult.
It can be tough.
It can be tough when you're up to speed. You're trying to find tenths, and that comes from, like you said, the 1%ers of technique or line choice or, having someone in your corner that...
Oh, you might not think it's much, but over a 25-minute motor, it soon adds up.
And the best guys, they always surround themselves with the right people for them, I think, and... like last year you said you had Todd Waters and you guys would have worked together really well being up there, and obviously that didn't work out, but Todd would have been great in your corner as well with his experience. And
for sure.
And, Ross has a great program down here. And
Ross is a no bullshit kind of guy, says it how it is, and maybe rubs off on people the wrong way, but for me it's perfect how it is because growing up with my dad, he says it how it is, and that's how it works. So
same kind of deal,
It's exactly the same. And from the very first day, I worked with Ross when I was on 125s one day at Ride Park Vic, and he said, "Go out and do some laps. I'm going to watch you and see, how you go." And I went out there, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good." And I came in, and Ross was like, "So how do you reckon you did?" And I was like, "Yeah, not bad. Like I feel pretty good." And he was like, "I reckon you did shit." And I was like, "What?"
Oh, okay.
Like, man, I just
threw
tried
down
to get in contact with you so I could get a ride day in at Ride Park, and now you're having a go at me.
Yeah.
And Dad was like, I like you already.
Yeah.
And we went out there and we worked on some shit, and I pulled 8 seconds on my lap time.
Wow.
So from then on, I've pretty well worked with Ross ever since then. That would have been like 2018 or 17. So
it would have been
a really big help.
It's so you're going to be down here the whole series?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can't really go home with the risk of borders, right?
Even still, I planned on being here for the year.
Yeah,
okay. I was here for day one of boot camp pretty well, so I want to be the best I can possibly be. I don't want to miss anything,
Cool. I mean, you're in a really good spot down here. Well, obviously, we're not in Gippsland right here, but where you're based between, PBI, Wonthaggi, the other tracks in that area that you guys would have access to, like the it gets cold and wet in winter, but you can still ride.
Yeah.
You got Rosebud down the road, which I'm sure you're a fan of coming from WA.
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, I bet you love that.
I love that place.
Yeah, that's well, that's not far from where I live. So
right. Okay.
I'd get down there more, but it's too rough for me now. It's way too hard to ride.
Rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really enjoy that place.
And I don't like changing clutches or tires either. So it's like,
oh fuck. Shouldn't have to change a tire. It's just powder.
Oh, it depends. When it rains, it gets pretty heavy. You're on a paddle down there, or?
Yeah.
I only got one wheel right now, so I don't want to have to keep putting a paddle on.
Oh, dude, I hate changing tires.
I refuse to.
Yeah, lately I've been really lucky because Townsend has a close friend of his, Ryan, who's a qualified mechanic.
Yeah, there you go.
He worked at Marriott's.
Oh, okay.
So he's been helping me out. Like he put a clutch in my bike the other day, and he's been helping me out with tires. So. Yeah,
you got it dialed.
Really helping me lately.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
I'd be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, it's rough. Like, so I always give Milner so much shit because, like, he's one of the best off-road guys in the world, and they're just a different breed. Like, changes tires, mooses, clutches. Like, he'll rebuild a bike, and like, he'll drive to the races in Queensland or wherever. Yeah, sleep in his swag. Yeah, there's like a perfectly good hotel in town. Yeah, that he would have access to probably as well. KDM would probably fund it. You know, I'm sure he invoices him for his travel and whatever. Yeah, and Milner's a weapon. I mean, they're just country boys. I get it, but like, it's a different world, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, if I was as good as you, maybe it's probably why I wasn't as good as him. But like, I would not be doing what you're doing right now. Yeah. But yeah, off-road guys are hardcore. I've got a lot of respect for those guys, for sure. And our close buddy of mine, Mason Simmons, has made the switch now, and he has. That's right. Some of this like riding and stuff that he tells me they do, it's like, wow, that's pretty full on. I feel like he left a bit on the table with moto, not intentionally. He's still been training with Ross now, and he comes out and he's like running the pace, and it's like, fuck. I mean, I get why he went off-road. He had his injuries. He had an opportunity to keep a factory ride or factory support ride and do off-road, so obviously you're going to take it. But yeah, he's got a God, he was so good as a junior in moto, I like Mace. He's a good kid. But something I found out, there was a little race at Wonthaggi on the weekend, and I was talking to Paulie, Mason's dad. Yeah. And Mason was like 86 kilos in juniors when he was on a 125, and he's like 78 now. Really? Yeah. So he might have lost like 11 kilos or something. He was heavy. Like, I remember him getting bad starts on the 125. Big dog. Yeah. He was a big boy, but he used to knock kids out of the way. It was like Bowser and Mario Kart on track. Like, but yeah, he's in super good shape right now, so hopefully he has a good season. I hope so. He had a good start to the year last year before it all stopped. Yeah. But all right, man. Well, hey, I'm not sure. How long have you gone for? Hour 10. Not bad. Well, yeah, it's been the Inside Dirt show with in-studio guest Regan Duffy. Shout out once again to the sponsors making this show happen, Recoverate and MX Wraps. Check those guys out, recoverate.com and mxwraps.com.au for more info. And with that, Regan, thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me. It was good chatting with you. Yeah, it was, man. And we'll see you, I guess you'll be walking across the street to go to Wonthaggi for the first round. I actually don't know what to do. Like, do I drive my van there so I've got a little place to go? What do I do? Or do I just walk there with my gear bag? I'd go home in between races. And I have a little nap and a shower. Catch up on Married at First Sight or something. Yeah, I've been getting into a bit of that. Yeah, it's not bad, eh? Oh, man. Your missus loves it, right? I can imagine. Mine does too. Yeah, Jess is into it, so I've got to be as well. But I'm slowly catching the bug, I think. All right, guys. Well, there's been, Regan Duffy's episode of the Inside Dirt Show. We'll check back in with Regan, I'm sure, on the race recap shows that we've got coming up for Pro MX that we will announce soon. We've actually got some exciting new partnerships there that are coming in the next couple of weeks. We'll drop those. And insidedirt.com.au. Make sure you guys go check out the new website. We'll have editorial content, interviews, all the podcasts will be up there. The YouTube is Inside Dirt, I believe. Is that the domain? Yep. YouTube/Inside Dirt. It's a couple bike tests on there I've done recently. Hasn't been one from November when I tested the 21 CRF 450. We might. I might know a guy. What do you think? Possibly. Yeah, maybe I'll have to ask Mick. In his head, he's like, not a fucking chance. I'm not letting this guy ride my bike. Maybe a couple rounds in or something when I'm set. Yeah. But yes, Inside Dirt, the YouTube. We've been building the website platform. We've been building the YouTube guys. We've got a lot of content coming this year. Appreciate the support. Make sure you guys give us a rating on Spotify and iTunes. Really helps us become more visible. Share it with your friends. Share it on Instagram. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the tags. And we will be back real soon with more content Inside Dirt. Thanks, guys.